So we get elevator music when we start out? It's like,
Shuffle on.
I know. And it got really bright up here. Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for joining us this morning. We booked like early morning panel because we thought that was a genius idea.
Yeah. Well,
and now we're all suffering, crying in our...
Well, we have room to play thrash ball now, so we'll do a game.
Exactly. So yeah, we're here to talk a little bit about Gears of War 4. We have a lot of stuff to chat about, a lot about versus multiplayer and some actual some new stuff as well related to some merchandise. So I'll just kind of go over some of the things we plan on talking about. First thing is special guests.
They're the special guests.
They are the special guests, every single one of you guys. We actually, we have a few people up here on the front row we kind of want to highlight here right in the beginning. We also plan on talking about our tomorrow trailer. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. It is freaking awesome, but we'll talk about that a little. I'm biased. And then we'll also talk about, of course, Gears 4 versus multiplayer, what's coming for some new Gears merchandise, some never-before-seen stuff, thanks to Sarah over here. Never before seen. And then we'll do a quick Q&A at the end, so you guys can ask your questions.
Well,
and
the
then
first part's like 5 minutes, so we got like 50 minutes of questions.
Exactly. So we'll just go right into the Q&A. That's about it.
And done.
But we also do have a lot of cool swag prizes and things like that up here that we do want to hand out to our wonderful people that are here live with us. So just to introduce ourselves. See?
Look what you did.
I
made you change
screwed
the opener.
up. You made me change it, and now it's like out of order.
You're such a rookie.
Well, the first panelist is Rod.
Hey, everybody. Like, I feel like I just go walk out and introduce myself to each individual person.
There it is.
Is it timed or you're clicking? Okay.
Yeah, I'm clicking on it. You gave me the clicker. My name is Adam Fletcher. I'm Director of Community at the Coalition.
Boo. Oh, sorry.
Hey guys, whoa. Boom. First one of the day.
Dropping the mic already?
That's right. I'm Ryan Cleven. I'm the lead multiplayer designer on Gears of War 4.
Hi, I'm Sarah Boatman. I'm the Director of Business Development at the Coalition.
Yay, Sarah.
Sarah's the coolest stuff to show, so...
Yeah, exactly. And we're all waiting for what Sarah's going to show.
Merchandise-wise, yes. Jesus.
Keep going. Don't stop. Keep going. It doesn't hurt as much.
I just want to say working with Rod creates the most awkward situations.
What are you talking about?
It's like HR, Microsoft. The first thing we wanted to actually show off was the tomorrow trailer before we actually jump into the special guest, because that was another thing that's completely out of order. Thanks, Rod. But I'm sure you guys have seen it. We actually premiered this a couple weeks ago on Fear the Walking Dead during the premiere for the season premiere for this season. So we'll take a look with audio.
So the concept behind Tomorrow and reason it's called Tomorrow is around the whole last line from Gears of War 3 where Anya says we'll have a tomorrow. So we wanted to do this idea of the premise of seeing Marcus happy, you know, like 6 years after the end of Gears of War 3, and then sort of flashing forward to what the present day is going to be for Gears of War 4, where you get to see J.D. Phoenix, the son of Marcus and Anya, kind of in the situation he's gotten himself into. And so it's just sort of going back and forth. And we had this really interesting director who wanted to work with sort of circular camera moves to try to keep the motion going and make it feel all connected. But we really wanted to harken back to that moment in time in the game. So obviously with it crossing 10 million views in a little over a week, we're doing about 1 million views a day, which means, and we're the #1 video on Xbox right now. So we blew away even the Xbox One reveal, hardware reveal, and
crazy.
And a little game called Halo 5's launch trailer. So. It's really funny being on a panel that I know is being Twitch streamed, because now I can't say half the shit I would normally say, because like if it's just among friends you can say shit, but now we're being broadcast so we can't. But anyway, so it's been an amazing experience. I just want to say thank you guys for everybody who left it on play and walked away and let it loop over and over for us. That was appreciated. But obviously it's resonating with people a lot. I get so many tweets about like as a new father, or my kids, and when I was playing this, I was a certain age, and it just the fact that one of the things I really like about Gears of War is the fact that it's not just a Space Marine versus Aliens game, that we have these moments of humanity in our game, whether it's the Dom moment or the Maria moment or these types of things, or where people can actually connect with the characters in the story. And so I feel this is an important part of our franchise, that it's not just a Space Marine fighting aliens kind of game, that it actually has human elements and something to connect to. And so I'm glad that it seems that people appreciate that too. So thank you. All right, so you have your special guests.
Yes, special guests. So we actually have some cosplayers here right now, and I actually would love if they could stand up and actually come up here to the front so they can actually display some awesome cosplay. So if you guys could, that would be great. I'm going to scream because I can't really yell.
Well, it's a small enough group, you can yell. Look at first Kate. Oh, and Steffi's got a voice.
Do we have a handheld mic? All right.
Don't steal that thunder.
Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna ask for names here, who you're cosplayed as, because this stuff is awesome. Let me just tell you, cosplay is probably one of the coolest things ever. I love it to death. I love watching our fans be able to, just be so attached to our characters and actually dress up as them and come to these different shows. And I mean, the amount of work and effort that you guys do into this stuff is crazy. So it's so awesome. So,
If you stand in front of the table, they'll get more light.
oh yeah. Actually, let's go over here so you guys can be blinded by this wonderful light like I am. Yeah, that'd be great. And then,
Find out, like, how long did it take?
yeah. So I'm gonna ask for names. You can introduce yourself. Tell me who you're cosplayed as, and then how long did it take to do all this work?
Okay, you guys are gonna get real angry at me. My name is Stephanie Bryles. It took me about a week to make this because I was really rushed. But these are actually, I made a Samantha Byrne costume way back in the day, and it took about a month to make everything, but these guys actually are recycled from Sam, because they were almost the exact same breastplate, so I was able to do this and this last minute for this panel and for PAX.
It's awesome. Nice job. Nice job.
I'm Amber Taylor, and I'm cosplayed as Anya Stroud. And how long it took me, well, I actually used pieces from my old one, my first Anya Shroud that I made, and I was not happy with any of it, so and that took me about 5 months to make, so I revamped it in about a month. It took me to do this new one, which I'm much happier with.
Awesome job.
I'm Ashley Taylor, and I'm cosplayed as Sophia, and it took me about 5 months. We actually were in our living room together making them, a lot of it. 5 months for the first one, and then I completely redid the breastplate as well as the back piece, and that took me about a month for PAX.
Nice job. Nice job. All right, big guy.
So, I am that Gears guy, but also Dale. You've probably seen just us blasting all over the place, but we are members, some of us are members of the 26 RTI, a cosplay group that was formed. Yep. We are a cosplay group that was formed probably about 5 years ago. We have about 198 members worldwide that do nothing but... Yeah, it's all stuff, multiple accounts. And essentially, depending on where you catch me, I'm either Coltrane, woo! Or I'm Dom, or so, suck, bitches! We can also rock with Anthony, which we all know who we love. Cosplay took about 5 months, but I worked hand in hand real closely with Sid Garan, so he helped me out a lot with this, with the fabrication, and basically once I got it, then I had to reshape the whole damn thing because it would not fit. So we had to make it happen, but that's where we are today. So thank you so much.
Hey, awesome.
Nice job, guys. Just want to give these guys another round of applause. You guys are awesome. I do want to see everyone before the end of the panel, like right at the end of the panel. I want to grab a picture of you guys so we can post it on Gears of War on Twitter and stuff. And then at the same time, I want to grab all your information because cosplay, like these guys put in so much effort. I love rewarding anyone that has this much passion, as us for Gears of War. So thank you guys again. It's awesome. It's really cool. Nice job.
So I guess, can I do your transition because you're walking? See, your mic's dead now. So one of the things that's come out from the community team that Adam's team has done is these cosplay guides. And these were the really quick ones to get the content out there in terms for Ultimate Edition.
Yes. And we're planning on doing much more detailed ones for Gears 4 where we're actually going to do full turnarounds and grab additional commentary from the artists that we're working on, all the concept art and the character renders and everything. So it's going to be really good.
It's been good talking, like even when we were talking with Stephanie about what she was doing and giving her some of the lore behind what was on, like, because one of the things that isn't really expressed that was interesting, we were talking about the ponytails. And if you notice if you've seen the art so far, Kate has her ponytail on one side on her left side, and Reyna has her ponytail on the right side. And that's because in the outsider culture in Gears of War 4, there's the notion of you wear your ponytail to indicate your availability, in the sense that if you wear it on your left, you're single or you're available, and if you wear it on your right, you're married or you're taken. And so Reyna has a long ponytail down her right side, and even though she's lost her husband, she still wears her ponytail on her right to say that she's not available, that she's... It's not a spoiler. But that notion, and it's just something that goes into cosplay, like it matters. Like that's the thing that the conversation we were having was that a little thing about what side you wear your ponytail on matters to the characters. And so it's those sorts of things that we want to get those details so that people, when they want to cosplay, they're making sure they're accurate. So it's cool. Here's your clicker.
Oh, well, the next thing we're going into.
Is me?
Yeah, it's you.
And Brian?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to, we're doing the multiplayer. So that's our new multiplayer trailer. Debuted, 3 days ago?
Yep. I debuted on Friday morning.
So really excited at the trailer. One of the big things for us is that we're actually able to get it's a newly released track. It's not on iTunes yet, by DJ Shadow with Run the Jewels. And they've been an amazing partner to work with for this trailer. And yeah, we're hoping that people really dig it. And it kind of shows the accurate side to Gears of War trailers. Like typically in multiplayer, like typically we tend to do the the safe version of that stuff, and I felt like when I watched that, I feel like it communicates what Gears multiplayer is like, but I also feel like it shows the differentiation of what Gears multiplayer is from other games. That doesn't feel like, you know, a Call of Duty multiplayer. That doesn't feel like a Halo multiplayer. It feels very much like it's Gears of War multiplayer, so I love that trailer. All right, so again, there's more stuff to be told though. Like as you imagine, we have a communication plan for all of our stuff, and while we're talking about multiplayer now, but not everything that we're doing is in that trailer, so there's more to be talked about for sure. So what we thought we'd do is, like, if you've been following me at all on Gears Viking on Twitter, and you should be if you're not, Mantini pictures, if you love fruity drinks, like I love fruity drinks, then you'll love my Twitter feed. But I've been going around to the press, so we've been in London, we've been in San Francisco and LA and Mexico City, and we've been doing this press preview where we've gone and talked about multiplayer. And part of what I talk about is a little bit of what's here, but I feel like the press kind of, they're trying to get through it and they just want to play and just write how it feels, and they don't talk about a little bit more in detail about what I was talking about during the tour, what we were talking about during the tour. So I want to take a few minutes just to go over some of the things that may be a little bit more detailed, so they're a little bit clearer than what we had coming out of the press. So the big thing that we talked about with them was, our number one goal is just make the best Gears of War multiplayer possible. Like that was the best ever multiplayer, right? And it seemed like an okay goal for you. Like say, Ryan, go make the best one. That's all I want from you. Just go make the best one. No pressure. So we took that pillar of like, let's go make the best one, and we broke it into three main goals. The first is to innovate while staying true to Gears. So, you know, even though I've been with the franchise a long time, people see the Coalition as a new, torchbearer, and what we really want to do is didn't want to like mess it up, like take it over and try things that were so radically different that people felt like the Coalition didn't understand Gears of War, that we were going to screw it up some way. So when we looked at it, we were like, okay, first things first, let's make sure we can make a Gears of War experience before we go crazy. But people talk about Judgment a lot, and one of the things we looked at, okay, we're not going to use Judgment as our baseline, we're going to use Gears 3 as our baseline, because that felt like the truest Gears of War experience. Because Judgment is really, there's a lot to like about Judgment, but one of the things that was interesting about Judgment, it was really an experiment about what's it like to make Gears more first-person shooter friendly. To use a first-person shooter control scheme and offhand grenades and no DB-nos and all the stuff and speed and a human versus human multiplayer. It was all about, hey, what would happen if we were to chase other people's success? Because at that time, like first-person shooters are just blowing up like crazy. And so it was like, wonder if we adapted a little bit more to be more first-person friendly, would we bring some of that audience? And I think what we found was, you ended up not satisfying either audience. It wasn't enough of a first-person shooter to get the first-person shooter audience, and we're actually moving away from the Gears audience, and we were losing Gears players. And so we ended up in this really awkward neutral zone that we didn't like. And so one of the big missions for us was really to stay true and just embrace what makes Gears Gears. And so when I stood up in front of the Coalition, probably in the first week that I was there, I talked about lead, don't chase, and that what we're going to do is we're not going to try to change Gears of War to become something to chase other people's successes. What we're going to do is take Gears and take the things that are true and meaningful to Gears and just go really super deep on them. And so things like intimate violence, the things that up close, that visceral feeling, your hands sweating, that the monsters in your face chainsawing things in half, like that stuff we're just going to double down on. And why you see things like the knife execution, that idea of using cover as a way to move, like the horizontal platformer, and why you see things like that vault kick and being able to slide smoothly over cover. Teamwork and flanking, that idea of, in other games you can be 1 of 16 on a team or 1 of 12, and your individual performance kind of doesn't matter. You're in there to get XP. You're not necessarily like, oh, I'm the reason we won, or I'm the reason we lost. I'm just on there to get some XP. Whereas in Gears, you can see very clearly with 4 or 5 people on a team, if you go out early, we were watching the pro finals yesterday, and the big whole thing was like, if it goes from 4v4 to 4v3, there's an immediate assumption that the guys who lost the first guy was going to lose the round because they were now off by 1, which was crazy, right? And so that feeling, though, of intensity and like accountability about how you play is an important part of Gears. It's a part of a barrier for us that we're working through, too, because some people are intimidated by that. But it's what makes Gears Gears, which is cool. And then weapons as characters, and the notion, like I talk about other games having gun porn, where you have oh, I want to change my accuracy by 1.3% by adding a red laser sight, or I want to change it by 1.2% to add a wood stock. And we're like, Gears weapons are like characters into themselves. They're like a torque bow and a boom shot. There's no nuance there. It's a big, in-your-face, understandable weapon that does has special abilities, and that's the kind of things we want to continue moving forward, and why you see the Dropshot as an example of that. But we did want to obviously go beyond just sort of getting to parity, which we spent a shit amount of time on to get to. Does this feel like Gears of War? Because we changed engines. I talk to people and they assume that, oh, well, you just took Gears 3 and added on to it, and that's not the case at all. When you have to move from Unreal Engine 3 to Unreal Engine 4, we had to rewrite a lot of stuff from scratch. We had to do crazy stuff to get to parity. And so the fact that people are coming away from playing the beta and on the floor and going like, oh, it really feels like Gears even smoother than Gears 3, that's a huge compliment. Like, I know it doesn't sound like you're going like, wow, you blew my mind in innovation. The fact that you're saying it's Gears 3 but better is a huge compliment to the team and everybody, because that's exactly what our focus was. But we realized once we got to that place, we were like, what can we do different? Like, how can we innovate? And obviously cover being hugely important to Gears, it was, hey, how do we innovate in cover without breaking it, because it's very easy to break cover. And so we talked about like, well, where's cover not necessarily working where we'd like, and obviously where that is in sort of this idea of when people get on the opposite sides of cover from each other. So you get this sort of what I call the naked gun problem, which is the pistols over the garbage can problem, where they're so close proximity that they should be another solution, but they tend to do these weird sort of shotguns over the cover, and it looks kind of silly. So we're like, well, okay, we have this situation, and Gears 3 had mantle kick, but people found it slow and cumbersome. It was aggressive, but you had to slam into cover first, and then there was a beat, and then you kind of went over, and some people felt it was overpowered.
Yeah, it was a little clunky in multiplayer.
Right. So what could we do differently? So we took a defensive version and an aggressive version. So what we call the yank and shank is the defensive one, with the ability to reach over cover, grab onto somebody, and pull them onto your side. And it allows you to kind of, it's defensive because they're coming onto your side of cover. But what's cool about it, especially for multiplayer, is important, because in campaign you don't worry so much about being countered, but we needed to make sure that these types of moves work both in campaign and multiplayer. So you guys spent a lot of time getting the feel right for, hey, this is kind of like a fight game, and being able to counter that attack.
We wanted to make sure all the tells were there so that you could see somebody coming and anticipate it, as opposed to it just being a quick time thing.
Right. But what's cool is that at the end of this, it opens up a small window that if you're hammering on Y, you can do these cool combat knife finishing moves, and you saw a lot of that in the trailer, the idea. And it all has to do with angle of attack, that depending on in which direction you attack somebody, there'll be if you attack straight on, there's right now, in the beta, there's I think 4 different types of stabs you can do. And then if you attack from the side, there's different stabs, and if you attack from this side, there's different stabs, and if you attack from behind, there's different stabs. And so the variety comes into not only there being variety on one angle of attack, but there's also multiple angles, and so you'll play different things. And that each faction in our game, the top one being the cog, the middle being the outsiders, and the bottom being the swarm, they each have their own combat knife they can use. So it's taking that intimate violence, that idea of the executions or the finishing moves, and making it faster so people use them more. And it's hugely gratifying when you get one. So it's great.
The best one is the blood unicorn.
That's what the unicorn is.
Yeah, where you
our favorite.
Slice up and then you stab it right in the top of their forehead, and it just gushes blood like a unicorn horn. So good.
And then the aggressive one is the vault kick, which is this idea of not having, when we had the mantle kick in Gears 3, like I said, you had to slam in, and then you had to sort of come, clunkily. Is clunkily a word? I'm going to make it a word now, clunkily. You can clunkily move over. But now with vault kick, you can actually just smoothly, as you approach it, you press B and you're over, and you can be able to keep going over. And the notion of this allows you to actually accelerate. So you see that in a lot of the matches yesterday, when that first piece of cover coming out of spawn, people would just smoothly go over top and keep going, right? It's the same thing. It opens for the knife move, and it also can be countered. You can counter it in multiple ways, we're seeing too. It's not just there's the counter, but then the people that are actually yanking those people over as they're coming.
There's a tiny window that if you time your yank properly, you can actually counter the vault kick. Sort of a little rock, paper, scissors thing we threw in there.
Yeah, it's great because they're actually running towards cover, and then you just
keep them going.
Thanks for helping.
Yeah, exactly. Come to me.
So some of the weapons, one of the things that was interesting for us is that in the past games, 1, 2, and 3, to come up with a new idea for a new weapon, it was easy to do because we were dealing with, there was part of the war effort. Like you're fighting the Locust and, oh, there's just a new weapon because the war continues. Well, for 4, it's coming after 25 years of peace. So we're like, how do we get new weapons when there's 25 years of peace? And so one of the things we've talked about was, hey, well, the world is rebuilding now. It's under, they're rebuilding from the wars. Wouldn't it be cool if you could take tools and make that into new weapons? And so we did that. And so the first one is the Dropshot. And the Dropshot came about as part of like, hey, when the countermeasure goes off at the end of Gears of War 3, it killed all the Locusts. And we actually had 2 weapons, the ink grenades and the digger, that were Locust creatures, not just weapons, and they go away too. And so everybody loved the digger, at least on our side, and at least I love the digger. And that idea of like having this kind of unique weapon that kind of invalidated cover because it could go underneath it was really cool, and we lose that. And so we're like, well, how can we have a weapon that invalidated cover but still meet our fiction?
And be skillful.
And be skillful. And so the Dropshot is this weapon that shoots out this drill bit with a bomb on it, essentially for mining. It's a tool. The fiction around it is it's a mining tool.
Very efficient.
Yeah, exactly. Well, sarin miners are don't have a long lifespan. They're all Carmines. It's the Carmine Mining Company. Excuse me, I have to take a note. That's genius. Carmine Mining Company. But this idea, so what it allows you to do is allows you to go over cover instead of under cover. And so when you shoot it, you'll see this little red laser go out kind of as an indicator of where it'll land. And when you let go of the trigger, it'll actually drill down. And what you saw in the trailer is what happens with a headshot is that if you go, if it lands next to somebody, it blows up like a grenade would. But if you land it on the top of their head, it actually takes their head and drills into the middle of their body, rumbles for a while, and then blows out from the center, which is amazing. So the Dropshot's a lot of fun. And then we wanted a new heavy, much like the turrets, mulchers, and those sorts of things. And the Buzzkill came around with this idea of like, what if we had like one of those road construction saws, but somebody had rigged it to actually shoot the blades rather than just spin them. And so as you saw there, the Buzzkill will actually ricochet in the environment around, and so it'll take out people, and you can actually aim behind them and hit the cover and have it bounce back and take them out. It can also kind of mess you up if you don't pay attention to the ricochet. Yeah. So, but if you're good at pool, you'll be good at the Buzzkill. Remember, angle of incidence equals angle of radiance. Anyway, so but it was just really a fun challenge to come up with weapons that weren't based on a war. That was just like, let's just screw with things that exist in a way. Like the Buzzkill, that saw essentially exists, right? But just making it lethal, which is cool. All right, so that's the first one, like how do we stay true while innovating? The second one is really just the best versus for everyone. And please interrupt more because I'm used to giving this speech, so it's hard for me to stop talking. Sure. But the thing for us was really about looking at, in the past, when you look at 1, 2, and 3, as I've talked about a lot, and you probably heard, is this notion that, we were really focused at Epic on the bottom 2 of these. Like we look at the new and the social. We were always trying to find this, if you think about it as a funnel of how people move through, they become in new and they work their way up through social, through competitive, and ultimately becoming professional. We were really focused on the new and social. We were always talking about how do we broaden that funnel and make it wider at the bottom. And we kind of let the top take care of itself. We never really helped the competitive scene. We didn't really do anything esports. I mean, we've been in esports since 2006 and MLG and all this stuff. So, like I'd say, life will find a way. Like, esports will find a way. People will play it competitively, if it's a good game. And so that's one of those things where we sort of always were designing for the bottom. And so when we came to Gears 4, we really talked about, like, instead of just focusing on the bottom, how about we focus and actually make sure we have something for everyone and focus on all 4 slices in here and not have, how do we make it
necessarily the same thing? Like I think that's something when we've heard before about accessibility and something for everybody, and it always boils down to like the lowest common denominator, and that's not the approach we took.
Right.
We were like, okay, we have all of these different 4 types of customers. We want to make sure that we make something for each one of these different types, right? And not to sort of boil it down to make sure that it's one thing for each one, like for the whole group.
Right. So, and some examples of that. So, do you want to talk about?
Right. And now I'm going to talk about the exception, actually, which is
well, this one applies to everybody. Way to set it up,
yeah,
Ryan.
Exactly. Yeah, back to that one. So we wanted to bring visible skill ranks to Gears of War, and this is not like in the beta right now. We've put the rankings on everything, and there's like just because it's a beta, we're trying to test out all the systems.
And it updates overnight.
It updates every night right now, and we're still looking at that in terms of a
wake up and there's a gift waiting for you.
Exactly. So if you want to check your new rank, go out at midnight or whatever. Yeah, not that we want you to keep playing after midnight or whatever. You've already gone to bed, but sure. So the idea here is that we wanted to showcase the fact that we're doing skill-based matchmaking behind the scenes, as well as communicate to people. People have been really asking for, how do I know in Gears of War that I'm better than my friend or better than other people online? And it hasn't historically had this. So we created this, a very straightforward bronze, silver, gold, onyx, and diamond. And the first 4 ranks have tiers. Like there's bronze 1, 2, 3, silver 1, 2, 3, gold 1, 2, 3, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow, I did not turn off Skype.
And now what you can do when you're playing is you can see where you are relative to the other people at the end of a match and know like, oh, okay, like I was bronze and he was gold, that's why I lost, or wow, like beating somebody that's in gold when in bronze is an amazing accomplishment. And it matters who you play. Like for people that are familiar with ELO type systems, when you beat somebody that's not as good as you are, it doesn't count for as much as when you beat somebody that's better than you are. So under the hood, it's not exactly an ELO system. It's more of a true skill derivative, but it really matters who you're playing against. And in the beta, everybody's playing against everybody. And for launch, we're still looking at how we're going to set up our playlists, but we will be having some that are unranked and social, and then the ranking will be separated. So you don't have to play ranked if you don't want to, but for the people that do, we're going to have these new visible skill ranks.
Cool. Well, and I mean, the thing for me about getting the tier-based, skill-based matchmaking and being really visible and focusing more on that is this idea I like to talk about is thinking about Gears of War like basketball. I mean, like basketball is a court, a ball, and 2 nets. And whether you played it in elementary school in your PE class, or you watched it on TV as part of the NBA, regardless of where you're seeing basketball, it's a ball, a court, and 2 nets. The game itself doesn't change. What changes is the level of competition. And so if you were to take somebody who enjoys, like me, like if you enjoy playing in the post-gym beer league, and then you say, okay, we take that player who loves basketball. This is his favorite thing to do after work every night. And you go, okay, I'm going to put you now on an NBA court. Now you got to play against professionals. And he gets smashed in the face and he gets dunked on and all this stuff. And he now hates basketball. And nothing's changed. It's a ball on the court and 2 nets. What's changed is the level of competition. And so what the visible skill ranks and our matchmaking is meant to do is actually allow for that separation so that the beer league players can play with the beer league players and the NBA professionals can play with the NBA professionals. And you can find the level of competition that's best suited for you so you can have the best experience. Because at the end of the day, the sport, quote unquote, the basketball, the game doesn't change. It's just who you play against, right?
And if you just want to hang out, play Gears with your friends, we're going to make that possible for you too.
Exactly. All right, but one of the things we did look at in terms of that new player, and I talked about a little bit of the intimidation factors, a lot of people sometimes go in, and it was one of my worries with the beta actually, it's like, oh, this Gears of War 4 thing's coming along, I'd really like to try it out. Oh, hey, I got shotgun in the face 5 times, I don't think this is for me maybe. So one of the things I really wanted to make sure we had was a safe place to go play. And so we've had bots in the past, but they've really been filler. They've been like, oh, it's 3 versus 3, so let's put 2 bots on each team to make it even. But this idea of having, hey, let's go matchmake to a human-only team, so we can have 5 humans play against an all-bot team. And so that way you can play socially, you can make friends, you can learn new skills and new techniques from other human players, and you just have a good time, but knowing you're only playing against bots, right? And so that it allows for that sort of safe place to go learn and discover. And what's cool is that when we moved from Unreal Engine 3 to Unreal Engine 4, the programming language changed. So Unreal Script went away. And Unreal Script was the way that AI was implemented in Unreal Engine 3. So whether in multiplayer or in the campaign, all the logic behind the enemies went away, or even in the squads went away. So we had to rewrite it. And so that became an opportunity where now the multiplayer bots, like in the past, when you played a multiplayer bot, it was the same personality, like same logic was in all 5 guys. So when you played against bots in, say, Gears 3, you were playing against 5 individuals. They had no idea of what a team was. They didn't have any idea about roles. They all were running the same logic, and so they were all doing essentially the same thing.
Yeah, and I think people in the beta have noticed this because Oscar seems to be a little more difficult than everybody else.
Oscar is GOAT.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah.
Noted.
Noted. But now, like, the bots have personality and they have roles, and so some are aggressive and some are more passive, some can snipe and some are flank, and so you get the sense that you're fighting a team, not just a group of 5 individuals. So what became sort of like, oh crap, we have a bunch of work to do because we have no AI anymore, became a huge opportunity for us to kind of improve it and build upon it. And then once you're in there, you can actually, and right now it's set to hardcore just in the beta, just because we wanted to have wanted something that was challenging. But when you get the final game, you'll be able to pick whether I want to play this mode with casual, normal, hardcore, insane, so you can actually work your way up. You can start with 5 people playing casual, and then once you get to the point where you're dominating the insane bots, you can go like, either I want to go in and play now online against human opponents, or I can stay in this world, because one of the things we're going to do is recognize that some people will never want to leave this space. It's like, League, you give me the stat from
Yeah,
League.
I mean, we found that a lot of multiplayer gamers that play League have a strong demand to play co-op with their friends. So like roughly about 50% of gamers will at least dabble in offline, and about 25% of them want to play all the time offline, which is really inspiring for us.
So we're going to allow for that. Like, if you want to play just with human teammates against bots all the time, you'll still get XP rewards, you'll still earn stuff, you'll be able to grind in that way too. So you don't have to go and get shotgun in the face if that's not the thing you're into. So one of our new modes that was in the beta, Dodgeball, is again, it's sort of focused on the social play.
Yeah, but it's also like the most epic Gears clutch mode ever. Like seriously, like that, getting down to a 5-on-1 and then like kill. Like, so for the people that don't know the rules of Dodgeball, you make a kill and one of your teammates comes back. But what happens is that when you start 5-on-5, 1 life each team. You'll make some kills, somebody will die, but then they'll go in a respawn queue, and then when you make a kill, one of your teammates comes back. And this means that you'll start at a 5-on-5, and then you'll will the other team down to sort of a 1 versus 5, and then somebody on that team will make a kill, then it'll be 2 versus 4, and then 3 versus 3, and there'll be these giant swings back like both ways. And so it feels really intense and hardcore, but then you're just waiting to get back into the game, and it actually sort of softens the really ultra hardcore of execution, and it's definitely like more skilled or a different kind of game than TDM, sort of an interesting hybrid of the two.
Yeah, it plays up. I mean, what makes Gears great is the clutch moments that come from behind, and this really enables that by having that back and forth, which is really exciting. And then the competitive mode we debuted yesterday.
Escalation.
And so you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So this is our new big esports mode that it's not just esports actually. We see it as the competitive mode inside the game. So it isn't just for the pro players. We think that anybody that sees Gears as a competitive game should be definitely taking a look at this mode. It's a classic domination style mode with 3 rings, and the more rings you get, the more points you get, and the more points, like it takes about 210 points to win the match. The twist is that if you get all 3 rings at the same time, you win. And we could have stopped there, but we looked at other esports games. We're like, well, how do we take this and grow the metagame out? And we drew inspirations from things like MOBAs, where we looked at the lethality of the game sort of increasing over time. And we said, how could we do that with Gears while still making it feel like Gears and not making it a new game? So we came up with with two ideas that achieve the same goal, but like were very Gearsy. And the one was power weapons. There's power weapons on the map. Let's let the players place them themselves. So after every round, it starts empty, and then the players will place 1 weapon per round, thus escalating the action.
That's clever.
Yes.
Wow, clever.
Yes. So. And then also the respawn timers go up. So at the beginning it's 10 seconds, and then we add 2 seconds every round. So
wait, the respawn timers escalate as well?
Yes, they go up. Yes. So one more. Get one more.
Okay. I'm waiting. Go.
So then over time, the lethality is going up, and that means that every life matters more and more and more and more. So it starts out as a faster respawning, a little more like lots of blood everywhere, and then by round 6 or so, everything is very tactical, and everyone's like every life matters a lot. So people like the weight shifts from objective to killing, and then between round 6 and 7 we have a halftime. And that kind of resets everything off the board, comes off the board, all the power weapons go away, and all the respawn timers go back, and we sort of have a second half. And if the game goes like it did yesterday, and goes all the way to 12
13 rounds.
Yeah, we get a 13th tie-breaking round with 22-second respawn timers where the lethality is super high. So we tried to create something that had a long run to it that could be viewed as like a sporting event, sort of run about 30 minutes, as well as have the depth of metagame and of competitive play that we see in other titles, while still making the core visceral combat really shine. So I think that was something that we've tried to bring together.
Yeah, and we'll be putting footage of that match up. Right?
Yep. Yeah, we'll have footage probably later this week.
It was an amazing match.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, and one of the things about being part of esports, we talked about is like, how do we make Gears of War more watchable? Like we felt like Gears of War has a head start with third-person shooter, we have a camera that helps it be more watchable.
And lots of giving and blood.
Yeah, and it's also really exciting.
Yes.
But so do you want to talk about like what the thought process was in terms of coming up with a new spectator?
Sure. I mean, we really started again with what Gears does successfully, which is that intimate player cam. And we watched a lot of casters and talked to a lot of casters. We had the benefit of one of them working in the office for a while. And we picked their brains a lot to see what they did. And we wanted to make sure we didn't lose that intimacy feel, but we wanted to give both the information that people needed to understand the situation, but also the cameras that would help people understand what's going on around the immediate action. So we have the ability now for casters to sort of have different layers of cameras that come out that give them control, like the follow cam can orbit around players, the ghost cam can fly a lot more like sort of an RTS or a strategy game, and this gives people a lot more control. And then we also let them plug a keyboard in and use keyboard shortcuts to jump to all the different players. The menu that you can see on screen gives all the health indication, all their current weapons, and as you're cycling through, it won't jump from player to player to player like it did before without you settling on it. So that means that you can select the players without the audience having to watch you jump through like 4 people to get to where the action is. And then on top of that, we came with this little twist, which is you can pull the right bumper and target who you want to look at and then jump to them. And we call this jump cam, obviously, because that's how we do things.
We're very literal.
names.
You should take up naming as like a professional thing.
Yeah, no. So what this lets you do is bounce back and forth in the action. So you can see something, oh, look what's going on over there. I can use X-ray mode, see people running around, be like, oh, I want to see what's going on over there. Target them and jump to it, and there's a cool sort of zip, jump cam again. There
Nice.
we go. Yeah, nice.
Well
So that you can really quickly navigate the battlefield, and it allows the caster to really tell what's going on overall as opposed to just what's in the moment, but still, whenever they want, they can get back in there right over to the shoulder of the player to get all that visceral action.
Okay, so I'm going to pick up the pace because I want to make sure Sarah gets all of her merchandise stuff, because that's probably why people are actually here and they don't want to hear about stuff from us. So the last goal for us was really about maximizing engagement, that idea of like you start a relationship with players, and that how do you continue that engagement and that relationship longer post-release. And so one of the things obviously is esports. We've talked a lot about it. It's one of those things that with Ultimate Edition, I like to say we started crawling. With Gears, in terms of esports, and with Gears 4, we hope to be considered walking. And then post-release, beyond October 11th, we're going to be, hopefully getting to a place where we're running. And it's just something that we feel is an important part of that engagement. And so far it's been, like if yesterday is any indication, it's going really well. So we're excited about that. So one of the things we want to do, like in the past, Gears 3 had, weapon skins and character skins, and it was something that we felt like was obviously the fans you guys were way into it because they did really, really well. People had a lot of character skins, a lot of weapon skins. And so we wanted to bring that back. But we felt like, obviously what's going on in the industry right now is this idea of cards and the idea of if you're going to collect something, it kind of makes sense to understand to collect cards. And so that's something that we're bringing into Gears of War 4. And what you're seeing below or above, in your case, is the beta reward. So if you get to level 20, which we based on
it's about
BI,
5 hours.
it's about 4.5 hours, right?
Yeah.
So if you play about 4.5 hours of the beta, you'll be able to unlock a character skin for Kate called Vintage Kate. So it's where her armor goes copper with like the copper patina, and she has like teal accessories. And then we have the Vintage Lancer, which is a copper Lancer and a copper snub, which is new for us because in Gears of War 4, instead of just having the rifles be skinnable, we'll have up to 12 weapons that can be skinnable. So you'll have you can have your own skin boom shot, your own skin drop shot, those sorts of things in your pistols. So when you pick it up, it'll change to the color of whatever kind of gun you want. And what's cool, we're also bringing weapon skins into campaign. So if you love your Tiger Stripe Lancer, you can play the story mode with the Tiger Stripe Lancer because that's your favorite version or whatever. And then we have this new thing called emblems, where in Gears 3 we had titles, where like master of your domain was like you'd have that title to tell people what you did on the weekends. No, but now we have emblems, which are be able to put behind your name in the lobby, and this part of that again to express your character and those sorts of things. So as much as we'll have weapon skins and character skins, we'll basically have lobby skins, emblems in a way.
Emblems, yes.
Yes. Sorry, naming master. It's the wrong name. Just got reprimanded by Ryan. But those are sort of our permanent durables. I'm not good with the word durable. I tend to say
Sounds like
durable.
Yeah.
I tend to say
These are the
durable. So
customization cards that we've
yeah,
got.
so we have, those are the customization cards, but we also have these consumable cards called bounties that if you played in the beta you've seen, which is like, sort of like, oh, I'm going to put this card, and if I complete what's on the bounty, then I'll earn extra experience, and those sorts of things. What's nice is they're not bets. They're not like, I bet I can do it this time. You play it, and it stays there until you complete it. So it's just something that you can play, but you can get more of these when you get cards that you can then continue to boost your experience gain. And of course, you got to have a gun crate, so all the cards come in crates, and essentially in every mode in the game that Gears of War has, you'll earn credits. We may change that name, but right now we're just calling the internal currency within the game credits. You'll be able to get crates with credits, and everything in the game is earnable through play. So the only exception to that are the promotional items, like the beta example, those beta rewards I showed you. You won't be able to earn the beta rewards because the way you earn them is being part of the promotion, or if there's a retailer promotion, those sorts of things. But everything else is earnable through play. And everything that you get for Versus is going to be just customization and personalization. It doesn't affect the gameplay in any way. So there's no buy to win or do whatever else, right? But that being said, I'm a 47-year-old, father with a demanding job, and so my ability to grind out a bunch of credits to get the level of customization I want is harder for me. So there will be an opportunity to use real money to expedite that experience. So, Ryan, although you have a new baby, so you can't really play that much either. Adam, who has no life, I'll use you as an example. He can play a lot, although he's not very good, but he can play a lot. You're better than me, though.
I am better than you.
It's not hard to be better than me. So Adam can grind away, but I'm gonna, whatever Adam earns, by playing, I'm gonna buy and try to keep my cool, get my vintage characters and other stuff, right?
Not possible.
Not possible. I know.
Yeah,
anyway, so we're gonna have like tiers of crates with like a lot of consumables and versus a lot of durables, and obviously we'll have rarities and things like things will be legendary to common and that kind of stuff. What you would expect from a card system, and again, they can be applied to all modes in the game. One of the new things we're doing is having this idea of curated maps. So in the past, we have DLC, which are map packs, and what that did is it created an haves and have-nots. It segmented our audience. It limited our pool of players because as soon as we put out a map pack, and you really want to do it quickly, like it shows that you should be releasing a map pack within 30 days of release, and what that means is that like less than a month after you've released, you've now split your audience in half to the haves and the have-nots. Right? Oh, that person bought the pack, that person didn't. And so we're going to be making, we're going to have 10 maps in the box, but every map we release as DLC is going to be free. Yeah. So we're gonna have between 1 to 3 maps per month. That are gonna come, 1 to 3 maps per month. They're going to come out, and they're going to be free for public play. And they're going to be a mix of some new maps that we have, along with bringing back old favorites. They may not be identical because things like TDM kind of messes with things like Gears 1 maps because of the spawn camping.
And we're going to make sure that every mode works on every map.
Yeah, and what you'll see in Gears 4 because of a competitive, being focused on things like competitive play and escalation and that sort of things, we need to make them symmetrical. So some of the truly crazy non-symmetrical maps or asymmetrical would be the correct term for that, Rod. The asymmetrical maps may not be, we might see some touch-ups and some work to make them, Checkout's my favorite, and Checkout better be back, Ryan, or we'll be talking. Right. But those sorts of things, we'll be bringing those back. So we'll be putting out these maps for public play. But one of the things we were concerned with is let's say we put out 2 maps a month for their first year. Now we have 24 maps out there, plus the 10 maps in the box. Now you have 34 maps. Like as a new player coming into it, say the next Christmas, I have to face 34 maps. And how do I learn the routes? And how do I learn the weapon placements? And how do I learn the strategies on 34 maps? It's too much. And so we're taking this curated map idea of, as we bring in new maps, we'll pull old maps out, or maps that maybe are not performing as well, or not as liked, or need to be worked on, or what have you, so that we'll only keep about, we haven't found the sweet spot yet, but like 12 to 14
Yeah,
maps,
and we'll be really looking at how they're performing, and if there's ones in there that we think that aren't, what we want them to be, we may, bring them back later improved.
Yeah, and so if you've been following me on Twitter, you've heard my team making fun of me about pumpkin ravioli, and then because the reason they make fun of me about pumpkin ravioli is that's my example for this, is like, think of it as a seasonal menu at a restaurant. You go into a restaurant, they have a seasonal menu, the fall menu, and shut up. And it's only the 8th time you've heard this this month.
Way more than 8.
But it's just that idea of like, hey, there's pumpkin ravioli in the menu because it's the fall menu, and I love pumpkin ravioli. And when I go in and I have it every week, and then the season's changing, we're changing our menu, and I go, whoa, wait, what's going on? Oh, we're replacing pumpkin ravioli with citrus salad, and you're like, well, screw your citrus salad, I want pumpkin ravioli. And so the way that I get pumpkin ravioli is I'm able to pay for pumpkin ravioli, and I can order it whenever the hell I want. And that's what we're doing with this, is that essentially if a map is coming out of rotation for free public play, you can buy the map to play privately. So if checkout's rotating out, I can pay to get checkout and own it, and then I can play privately on dedicated servers with my friends. And what's great is that we only have the host has to own it. So even though you're hosting 10 people, only the one person, because we're assuming the person who wants to buy the map loves the map. Like, I love checkout, I'll pay for checkout, but I don't have to assume my 9 friends also love it. I want to force them to go buy it even if they don't like it, just because I want to play with them. So only the person who loves it, or the host who wants to have his friends on it, has to buy it. So that way we have free public play, there is no haves and have-nots, and then you have that sort of private play, like, oh, I love that map, I don't want it to rotate out. I don't want it to go to the Disney Vault, is another analogy, or, the way that Netflix works. I mean, you get this.
Yeah, that includes spectators. Spectators are also part of the free group. They can just join in.
Yeah. All right, so you have a gift for beta players?
Yeah, so a lot of people have been playing over the beta over the weekend. You probably have noticed the dodgeball symbol as it comes up in the do you actually? I don't know. Maybe you don't. Maybe because I'm so
this is
attached
our
to the
symbol for
landfill.
dodgeball.
You do. It's up in the top.
Okay, all right. It is up in the top. All right. So what we're doing is we're actually giving away a free avatar item to everyone who plays the beta. It's the dodgeball shirt on there. It's actually one of our first Gears 4 avatar items, funny enough. So,
second one, okay.
Is the second one?
Yeah, because we actually have the t-shirt.
Oh yeah, we do have the t-shirt. Yeah. So everyone ends up getting a free dodgeball avatar item for playing the beta.
Yeah. So tomorrow, Monday, the beta goes live for everybody. Anybody who has a gold account can go and download it and play. And so there's no level restriction. You just have to play. So just get on there and play one match if you want, but you just have to download it and actually play a match, and then you'll get a dodgeball avatar shirt.
Yep. And they'll be delivered at a to-be-determined date.
Because we're so good at sending out codes.
Yeah. We're the best at sending out codes. So, and then speaking of avatar items, we actually do have new avatar items hitting tomorrow, so you guys can actually get like a Brumac or a Corpser or something like that to like attack you or
eat your avatar.
Yeah, eat your avatar in front of friends. One thing we did want to say is, over the past week with early access and everyone who played Ultimate Edition, we just wanted to thank everyone for their feedback, all the fans who've chimed in over Twitter or forums. We also do have another new way of being able to provide feedback over to us that we launched last week. So we highly encourage everyone to jump into the forums and actually to sign up for our new program, which is the Gears Feedback Program. Anyone can sign up. You just have to go to that URL right there. Because we have the craziest URLs ever, and you can sign up. We plan on sending out surveys out to people, and eventually we plan on actually rewarding people for kind of like helping us out, especially once we get into Gears 4.
Cool. Yay, it's Sarah.
Yay.
Okay, so real quick, one of the things I just want to give it, like, when we went through the transition, when we were at Epic and Gears 3, we kind of got into the stride, and we had a bunch of partners we were working with on merchandise, and whether it was t-shirts or action figures or books or posters, like all this stuff, we were flip-flops and pajama bottoms and all that stuff was going on. We need pajama bottoms, by the way, Sarah. And so, but in the lull between the 3 years, essentially, when sort of Gears of War went dark, those sort of partnerships ended. And so one of the things that Sarah's been doing as the director of business development is she's been re-engaging with with partners to create new merchandise and to get our merchandise train, get it all up and running again. And so you're starting to see that. And so I want Sarah to talk a little bit about what she's doing and announce for the first time some of the new merchandise that's coming out for Gears 4.
Yeah, we're really excited about our new merchandise program, and we're building it for the fans. Coming into Gears, I was fresh to it when it came to the coalition, and we did a bunch of research to really understand what was important to the fans. We visited over 3 different cities and did some long focus groups and really understood what's important to you. And I love these pictures that shows the passion that our fans have. I think we have the best, most dedicated fans. And we really want to deliver a merchandise program that salutes you. So The first thing we're doing is we've launched an e-store. We get a lot of questions as where can I get gears, merchandise, and this is where you can get it. We'll also be in a number of retailers. Right now we're in Hot Topic, Spencer Gifts, Walmart, and we're expanding our retail programs. But if you're looking for stuff today, the easiest way to find it is to head to our store. We're developing really authentic, premium products, and we're very excited about the products that we have coming. We started off focusing on the franchise, really iconic items, so you'll see a lot of the Crimson Omen, the Lancer, but as we go forward, we're going to expand those products with Gears 4 merchandise and esports apparel.
There's a beer growler on that site. You have to get that.
Beer growler, get the growler. Yeah.
So just to bring back up the dodgeball shirt thing, we actually have a physical dodgeball shirt launching in the e-store tomorrow, and anyone who does buy that also gets the avatar item, so you can buy it for your mom, and she can
the dodgeball
she can wear
shirt,
that around
right?
as she goes grocery shopping. It's pretty great.
Okay,
Yeah, it's like a skull.
I'm going to move forward. One of our exciting... Good. Yeah, this is a really exciting partnership, and we're just giving you a glimpse into the start of the program. We have a Wave 1 coming in September. We're doing both vinyl pops and mystery minis, and we have a whole slew of characters to be announced. So can you play the video?
Look forward.
Good.
It's just like done.
So that's the first wave, right? So
That's
there's
just
more
the
to come.
first wave. There's even more in the first wave. So we're just showing those three today, but stay tuned. I think they're super cute. So they don't look
Really?
cuter.
I think they're super badass. I do too.
I think they're badass, super cute.
I know. Okay, so this is badass. I don't know if everyone saw at Toy Fair, we announced our partnership with McFarlane. We're going to be doing a line of 7-inch action figures. They have 15 points of articulation, and today we're announcing that we're expanding beyond. We'll have both JD, Kate, and Dell coming for fall 2016. And again, that's just the start of their program, but we're really excited to be working with McFarlane.
It'd be great if we had a 3-second video.
Yes. It's so exciting.
That was great.
I think it was really cute.
Yeah.
Okay, you can have them.
Now you know what 7 inches feels like.
Yeah.
See? Thank you.
Oh, you got the
Thank
joke
you.
in.
I got it in.
Yes.
Thank
The
you
joke
very
got
much.
in.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
He promised me one.
Worked on that 7-inch joke all weekend.
And while we have a ton of more merchandise coming, and we're going to be announcing a number of new partnerships, between now and E3, this is a really special one for us. Triforce has been an amazing partner to Gears of War since the beginning, and they actually have worked on some concept art.
Yeah, they were
for
part of the
Gears
team
4.
working on concept art for the game, which is great.
Yeah, so they're really integrated with our team. They're going to continue to deliver some premium statues and replicas, and today we're announcing their first Gears of War product.
Yay.
Yay!
So that's a premium sculpt that's going to be available starting tomorrow for pre-order.
That's right.
And it's going to be available with certain retailers. Are we naming any of those retailers?
Not today.
Not yet. And some of those retailers will probably bundle the game with it as well, but we're really excited. And one of the things that comes with it is a lithograph of the original piece of concept art. So if you want to flip forward. So this was the inspiration for that. And so this was a piece of badass concept art that was done by James Hawkins at the time when he worked for Epic. And we were really inspired by this piece. It felt really, really cool. And we really wanted to have that bike in our game. And so we went and so that's what you're seeing in the piece that Triforce put together. So if you're looking for that, what's the big statue I want of Gears of War 4, much like the Marcus taking a knee one for Gears 3, you just saw it. So there you go. Our first big announcement. That's so cool.
Yeah.
We have very little time, so if you want to move, I don't know if there's any time for any Q&A.
There's 1 minute left.
So what's the most important burning question on your mind?
Of course.
I can't talk about any of that. I have no idea what you're talking about. The locust horde. No. Where's the Hammer of Dawn? The Hammer of Dawn, well, I mean, there's fictional stuff there, right? So we have to deal with that. So I'm giving Raise a time sign. So obviously we're a small enough group that we can mosey out into the other side if we have to leave the room or whatever, and we can chat and hang out or whatever.
We also do have a lot of extra stuff to give away, so feel free to chat with us.
Didn't get it in line, come and talk to
Yep. Come talk to him.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for coming. I realize it's early in the morning and you're missing PAX Mania, but I'm glad you guys came and hope it was worthwhile.
Thank you, guys.